Put down gun.
You got it, pal. Damn, I thought that was closer.
Story by George Lucas.
Okay, listen. I know that lots of people hated George Lucas for this movie, as well as the Star Wars prequels, but let's not forget that this man has also made the first 3 Indiana Jones movies and the original Star Wars trilogy. So the sin doesn't really work because he was a talented filmmaker who has made so many good movies, and it's a shame he had to sell Lucasfilm to Disney.
Russian dude throws out Indiana's hat so the audience can squeal with delight that Indiana Jones has made his arrival.
Pointing things out on the screen? Yeah, that's all this is.
Flensburg, there was twice as many.
Indy makes a casual reference to an adventure that would easily have made a better movie than this one.
What? You showed Max saying this, but then say Indy references another adventure? Granted, Indy does talk about it right after this, but you didn't show that clip, so this sin is for not showing the right clip.
I know they shot their way onto the base, but is the rest of the base completely deserted? No one's gonna ask any questions about the prisoners held at gunpoint or all the dead soldiers out at the gate?
Even if somebody did see this, I think these soldiers would just kill those people.
All the mystery of the warehouse from Raiders of the Lost Ark vanished.
Was this a real complaint? People wanted this warehouse to be mysterious? Because I remember seeing that scene in Raiders and thinking, oh cool, they're gonna hide the Ark. Not to mention, all we see in this scene is the alien corpse, so there's still a ton of boxes we don't even see inside of.
The contents of that box are highly magnetized.
So magnetized that its magnetic field can attract gunpowder in midair from a distance while it's in a crate inside a metal box underneath a whole bunch of other crates.
Yeah, so? This is Indiana Jones we're talking about, a series of movies where God is confirmed to exist and a guy literally pulls a beating heart out of another guy. This is the least unbelievable thing.
Also, did they really need Indiana Jones for this? What were they expecting him to do? Did they really think after 10 years Indiana would be able to precisely locate a crate in a large warehouse even if he stored it himself?
What kind of question is this? They need Indiana Jones because they don't know where the alien corpse is and Indy can help them find it. They found it because of the magnetizing, but they wouldn't have known that that's what they needed to do. The movie literally gives you this answer, so why are you asking this?
Why, Mac?
Indiana Jones gets betrayed by someone who's pretending to be his friend cliché.
This is a cliche? A common thing in these movies? Do you even know what a cliche even means? Because I don't think you do.
Damn, I thought that was closer.
Russian soldier guys don't immediately start killing Indy so that he can deliver this wise crap.
Sending this line.
Hey, that looks like the same arc from the first movie.
Even more pointing things out on the screen.
Nobody does terrible aim like Indiana Jones bad guys.
You sure about that?
Never construct a secret military supercar launching facility so that the supercar can be launched by someone falling onto the console.
You think that's why this thing launched? Instead of accidentally pressing a button?
The supercar is cool and all, but I'm dying to know what the local prairie dogs might be up to. Well, look at that. I spoke too soon. I don't know if these things are groundhogs or prairie dogs or gophers, but we're expecting 6 more weeks of winter anyway, bitches.
2 sins of just pointing out gophers.
Indy is too stupid to spot an obvious nuclear testing town, but smart enough to know in a matter of 10 seconds that a lead-lined fridge would protect him from a nuclear blast.
Considering everybody watching this movie didn't realize that this was a fake town, this sin is for calling the audience dumb.
Also, everyone who has ever watched this movie has already dinged this.
Okay, here's an actual defense, not like just saying CinemaSins is wrong on some of these things. I don't think this scene is that bad. Again, this is a franchise where a lot of supernatural things happen, and in Temple of Doom, there was a scene where Indy, Willie, and Shorty jump out of an airplane in a lifeboat and they survived. Is this scene dumb? Sure, but it's not the most unbelievable thing in this series to me.
Indy meet this prairie dog meet Indy. One of you is the star of this movie. I'm just sure of it.
This is the 3rd time you pointed out the freaking gophers. Stop it.
Even if he survived the nuclear blast and ensuing bouncing flight across the desert, why the fuck wouldn't he die from radiation poisoning after getting out of the fridge so close to the blast site? Look how close he is to the mushroom cloud. Face it, Indiana Jones is dead. Don't believe me? Just keep watching this movie.
Okay, I'll do that. And Indiana Jones is fine. In fact, he's in this whole movie. Yeah, I still don't believe you.
Don't you know it's dangerous to climb into a refrigerator? Those things can be death traps.
Apparently not.
Hate to sound pedantic, but he said they can be death traps, not that they are. There's a difference.
What exactly am I being accused of besides surviving a nuclear blast?
Did Professor Jones just say nuclear?
Says the guy who mispronounced Shuri's name.
Sean Connery probably still earned $1 million just by appearing in this photograph.
More pointing things out on the screen. Honestly, I'd hate this movie if they didn't make at least one reference to Henry Jones Sr.
Mary Williams, you remember her?
We're a lot of Marys, kid.
Shut up. That's my mother you're talking about.
Well, that's a reasonable reaction.
I wouldn't say it's reasonable, more so emotional. Mutt clearly loves his mom, so he feels offended when Indy seemingly offends her. This is characterization, which isn't a sin.
Also, somehow Mutt either doesn't know or doesn't think to tell Indy his mom's maiden name. And why the shortening from Marion to Mary, anyway?
Mutt didn't know that Indy was his father because Marion didn't tell him. Judging by the fact that Marion changed his name from Henry to Mutt, I'm guessing she also changed her name from Marion to Mary, and that's the name Mutt knows her by.
She called me 2 weeks ago from South America.
South America is a f***ing continent, dude.
Okay. What's your point?
I think you just brought a knife to a gunfight.
I have a feeling this was Sean Connery's line before he turned down the cameo appearance for this film.
Refer to the previous sin.
Get that greaser!
You see, stuff like this is why this movie is bad.
Really? I've heard a lot of criticisms about this movie, and that's not one of them.
Everyone is walking through the library like they don't hear a guy riding a motorcycle through it. I mean, don't you clear out as soon as you see some shit like this?
He says, over footage of people getting out of the way.
Indiana Jones movie rips off the traveling by map thing from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Everything wrong with Indiana Jones 4. A storytelling device is used in each movie.
Is this one open already?
Hey, I need a line that points out to the audience that this one's already open. You know, just in case they can't tell by looking.
Or Mutt wants Indy to look at this one too. And also the fact that you are saying this is hilarious.
Maybe the Spaniards found the skull along with all this other loot. Maybe the Indians caught up with the murder.
Good archaeology always leans heavily on speculation.
This is actually more true than you think.
Also, where's all this electricity coming from out here in the middle of the Amazon? I mean, generators, sure, but damn, how many f***ing generators for this tent alone?
You literally answered your first question. I guess the second question is a decent one to ask, but you didn't need to ask the first one to do that.
It was not made by human hands.
Who made it then? Come on.
Indy's reaction is exactly what the filmmakers should have thought before making this movie.
What's funny about this is that it was George Lucas thought aliens. He told Steven Spielberg he didn't think that was a good idea. So the point is, this joke doesn't really work the way you think it does.
Indiana Jones.
See? See this? You'll like this movie because we just referenced this other movie, right?
You're sinning Marion for coming back? What's the problem with that? Honestly, as much hate as this movie gets, I think the chemistry between her and Indy is still just as good as it was in Raiders.
Henry Jones III.
Mutt's last name is Williams, so he's Henry Williams the First, technically.
No, Williams is the last name of Marion's husband, Colin Williams, who was Mutt's stepdad, but not his biological one. Indy is Mutt's true father.
We interrupt this Indiana Jones sequel to bring you Avatar.
It's almost like this came out 1 year before Avatar.
The Russians decide not to learn their lesson and just throw away Indy's whip already.
No, I didn't edit this. That is how the audio is presented in the video.
You vanished after that.
Vanished? Where could Indy vanish? In Raiders, the year is 1936. At Temple of Doom, it's 1935 for some reason.
Temple of Doom was a prequel.
And in The Last Crusade, it's 1938. And he's banging that Elsa chick in The Last Crusade, so in 1937.
That audio splice was really bad. Okay, enough nitpicking. Let's hear what Jeremy's point here is.
Vanished? Where could Indy vanish? In Raiders, the year is 1936. At Temple of Doom, it's 1935 for some reason. And in The Last Crusade, it's 1938. And he's banging that Elsa chick in The Last Crusade. So in 1937, Indy and Marion must have had an everyday normal relationship where Indy introduced her to his friends, including Oxley. In all those years, Indy is still a professor at Marshall College. He couldn't have gone anywhere for a long time, at least not by the context clues of the other films.
Marion was referring to when she and Indy were about to marry, but Indy decided to break it up 1 week before it happened. The word vanished is more than just her exaggerating it, because she's mad that Indy broke up with her. This is, once again, characterization.
A boat car? We better swap this truck for that boat car. No telling when that might come in handy.
Because this car can drive much faster than the truck?
What are they shooting at?
Indy and the crew on the other side?
It's a good thing Mutt told us he was good at fencing earlier. I'm glad that paid off randomly here.
Again, what's your point? Are you suggesting they shouldn't have mentioned that and this would have come out of nowhere?
Indy's car behind is like 50 yards behind in this shot, but then magically only 10 feet behind when Mutt falls.
So a lot of the continuity errors you've been pointing out in this video are valid, this one less so. If you actually watch this scene without any cuts, you'll notice that Indy drives closer behind to catch
We
Mutt.
interrupt this Indiana Jones sequel to bring you a game of Pitfall.
We interrupt this CinemaSins video to randomly mention a pop culture reference.
Mutt just caught up to speeding vehicles by swinging on vines.
Alright, I'll remove a sin. This is a good point.
Big damn ants, go! Big damn ants.
Sinning these ants.
Reality.
You serious?
This kind of kills people.
Even though this is the same series where a knight is able to live hundreds of years alone inside a tomb just to guard a freaking cup?
What the actual
Same question for this sin. I have no idea what's wrong with this scene. You just ask this.
Thanks for putting that skull back on my body. Now, you.
Because she asked for knowledge, and this alien clearly noticed that she won't leave without it. So she has to die.
Man, so much bullshit just happened, I think the dinger might have broken.
I disagree, but the sin count didn't change at all. This joke could have been funny, but the dinger didn't do anything to make this work.
No! Oh, thank God.
Wait, so you send the movie for not doing what you didn't want it to do? Sending something you like.